September 23rd, 2021. We're about to start the Spark meeting at 7:05 p.m. So as a reminder real quick, only commissioners and co-chairs can vote on motions, but everybody is open to all discussions. So the first thing on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from the August 26th meeting. Brian and I weren't there, so somebody want to make a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What about Billy?
He needs to.
Anyone opposed? Did we lose Billy in the process?
I'll text him and see if he's here.
It's showing 5 participants.
Do we need one more for quorum?
I just texted him.
The quorum's fine. Here, yeah, we'll get Billy later.
Okay, awesome.
Wait a minute, I thought you saw my thumbs up there, but maybe not.
We don't have you on video.
That'll look like that. You don't see that. Okay, good to know.
Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the Sykesville Cinema. Our next one is October 9th, and that is our Halloween special one. The movie's going to be Nightmare Before Christmas. Chris, did you say that you have volunteers lined up for that?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, 4. We're good to go.
And I think that I'd like to do the costume contest again.
Yay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Do we have to make a motion for that since we have to get prizes?
I don't think we have to make a motion for that.
For
It
the
depends
costume
on if
contest,
we're
For
going
your
to,
purchases, you would.
Okay.
are we gonna purchase them, or are we gonna ask for, like, last year, I think it was the bookstore downtown that provided.
We bought the gift certificates for those,
Okay, all right.
or I did, but you guys voted to approve the purchase.
Okay, so I think last time we did, what was it? Was it 25 for
Like 10, 15,
20.
and 25.
It was, I think it was 50 total. So that would
10,
be
15,
25, 15, 10, depending on first, second, or third.
We're getting gift cards, right?
Yeah, I like that, at the Holiday Bookstore, yeah.
I was gonna say, don't we have the Main Street gift card now that includes all the businesses? Isn't that a thing?
Well, there's like the Main Street Bucks.
Yeah.
Are they still doing those?
Oh, was that a limited time
I
thing?
haven't seen them in a while.
Oh, okay, never
I
mind.
have no idea. I can certainly check with Julie on that.
I would make the suggestion that we go with gift cards for some of the sponsors for the movies.
That's a good idea too.
Remind us of the sponsors.
Old Town Lumber
Bags.
Company, Facts.
I don't know if kids are gonna want that Old Town Company gift card. Who else? Bax and who else? French Twist, they sponsor?
Yeah. They came in late, so that's why I had to adjust the ads.
Okay.
So this year it's Beck's, Old Town, and the French
French
Twist.
Twist, okay. So we get 1 to Bex and 2 of them to French Twist? 25 each?
Although if it's for kids.
25, 25, 15, 10.
Family
Seems-
oriented rather than fun
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah, it's true.
We could go with Firehouse.
Ice creams are always a big winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do ice cream.
Okay, do you want to do it for all of them?
I mean, we could do 3 from 3 different places, and
Mhm.
the 2 ice creams in the bookstore if you want.
That's
I
a
like
different
that.
scavenger hunt.
Right, we did. Although Norwood's moving, I don't know when they're actually moving.
Not
Yeah.
till the end of October, so
End of October?
we could do Norwood.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, then Norwood, Firehouse, and A Likely Story.
Okay, works for me. Alright, so I motion to approve spending $50 on gift cards for the Sakesville Cinema October movie. Costume contest.
I second.
Are those approved?
Aye.
Okay,
You said yes.
and we can work out the details of the contest, next part.
Yes.
I guess,
gotta do it
yeah,
now?
through email.
Yeah.
Cause it's pretty basic, I think we just follow the same rules as.
What did we do last year? Just,
Last year we
we
asked
just decided?
the cops to
Oh, yeah, that's
judge
right,
and
and
they
then-
just put it on me
They
and
put it on
Sparky.
Sparky.
So we should have someone should have a Sparky for the October one, right?
I bet Stacy would come out. I like the idea of having some, like, town officials and stuff come out.
We're town officials, sort of.
Why don't Joe vote?
Sparky can too.
Make Joe pick.
Nobody knows who I am.
Especially if you're not wearing a tie.
Well, the little kids that lose a contest will remember who you are.
Yeah, I think we still have the Sparky Zorro mask and cape. Which reminds me, I also wanted to talk about some way of organizing all of Sparky's various costumes
We can
and,
talk about that, in a later item, we're gonna be talking about inventory.
yeah.
So, in that conversation. Okay, so anything else then with, Sykesville Cinema? Any other concerns? Things we need to discuss at this point?
Who's doing signs and things?
I'll do signs. I'll do signs for the movie, and the snack shack is full.
Oh, I am curious, how was it setting up the screen last week?
Perfect.
Alex and I killed it. We didn't need you, Brian. We were fine.
Screen recording?
The batteries blew up in the remote control, but
Yeah, I seem to remember bringing that up about a month ago.
yeah, no, it all went well. And we had more people than we thought we would.
Mhm.
We were expecting a little later attendance, but
I was just wondering what the
75
news
75.
said.
counted.
and it was like the first Saturday after school started.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I figured a lot of people were staying back, but still at 75.
Did TriStar ever follow up with you?
Say one more
Did
time.
TriStar ever follow up with you, just about,
No,
oh, okay.
no. But I think our volunteers and the kids that joined him had fun.
Mhm.
They look like
Yeah, it
they
was
had
cute,
fun. Yeah,
Anybody count the money? I don't think I counted.
you didn't.
I didn't.
It's okay.
How much, how much did we make?
A little over $100.
Nice.
We were helping Alex put equipment away and we just forgot.
Yeah, okay.
No worries. I had Will and his girlfriend counted and I counted. All was good.
I'm glad to hear that the new screen setup is pretty user-friendly.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next thing on the agenda is Music in the Park, and that is October 2nd. Wanna talk about that, Nick?
We got, they mailed the contract, right?
I emailed it to you.
Yeah. We got all the paperwork. Chris is gonna pick up the check in the cash box the Friday before and get it to me that afternoon or that evening. It's gonna be me in the snack shack with 4 volunteers,
Mhm.
right? The 4 boys.
Mhm.
Okay. Does any other adult want to?
I'll be there.
Thank you.
I think Brianna said that she might.
Correct.
That'd be great too, yeah.
Anna said she would come.
Okay. I'll put up the signs. Are the signs still accurate? We put a sticker on it last time that said 5 o'clock. So that, yeah,
Yeah, I
right.
remember.
Yeah, I don't remember what we put.
I think it says
They
5
were
PM.
Yeah, they were 5 to 7.
So I'll put them up the morning of, or I'll put it the night before when it's dark, so nobody sees it.
Yeah.
And I guess,
Nobody sees.
so,
We
yeah.
wouldn't want anybody seeing you.
They're like day of signs. I don't want to confuse everybody on Friday evening.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I guess that's it.
I can help you put signs up Friday night because you shouldn't be running around in the dark. You drive, I jump out.
Make sure you dress in black.
We can do
I
that.
wanna see you.
We have reflective vests
Yeah, when you come drop off the,
and
Or when I come
fluorescent
pick up.
shirts.
the cash box, we can do something.
How's your snack shack inventory, you guys?
Everything is great.
You're
Oh,
good
good.
on that?
Everything's good. We're
We-
ready for the concert.
good.
And if
Okay.
need be, I can fill it back up for the movie, but as of right now, everything's
You're a good
full.
shot?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't even think about that.
Mhm.
Would have been.
Go ahead, Hilton.
Then the next thing is the Gatehouse Museum partnership. I don't know if Joe, Jen, if you guys can talk to that.
Yeah, so again, obviously we have a new curator there at the Gatehouse. She's been reaching out to lots of different organizations, trying to build a little more of a partnership with lots of different groups, just to really get the word out about the Gatehouse, and that it is an amenity here in town. And since it is in Cooper Park, and that's where most of, obviously, the Spark events are, it would be good if we had some sort of partnership there, so that if there were an event going on, a Spark event that were going on, there was also some sort of something else happening at the Gatehouse as well. So she just wants to make sure that that line of communication is open. And it's probably more of obviously next year's events, since we're kind of winding down this year. But as we start planning for movies in the park next year, if there is some way that we can fold in, Gatehouse participation, she's open to that. And she'd like to see more of that.
Awesome, yeah.
And then, of course, there is it's kind of an open invitation right now. If there is a Spark member that would like to serve on kind of the advisory board to the Gatehouse Museum, she's open to that, just to keep that line of communication open. But we know everybody's a volunteer, so it's, sometimes it's hard to participate in all that. So I think that's a standing invitation. Anytime anybody wants to participate in that, then, we can arrange that. But really, it's about how can we kind of blend the Spark events with other happenings at the Gatehouse as well.
Mm-hmm.
How long, what are the hours of the Gatehouse as the new curator? Has she changed that?
She has. So it's Mondays, I think it's like somewhere between 4 and 6. Wednesdays are in the morning, like 9 to noon. Fridays is again 4 to 6. And then Sundays, I can't remember the hours off the top of my head for Sunday.
So we should let her know about the concert and the movie, and
Oh,
for her to
absolutely.
be open, because if she's gonna be open,
And she's
draw-
already done that a couple times for the movies, just to make sure it's open. But I don't think a lot of people know that there's new hours yet.
No.
So I think as we start advertising for movies, it's also just advertising other things happening at the park.
Okay.
The Gatehouse can certainly be one of those.
And the concert might be good for her, because I think an older population might come to the concert and they might not know about the Gatehouse, and if they know that it's open and the hours are posted, they might get more foot traffic. So we can help her our last 2 events in October.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Okay.
It might also be beneficial if they can put together some sort of advertisement that we can put on the Snack
Sure.
Shack during
Yeah.
the event.
Yeah, that would be
Just
helpful.
kinda make them more aware of it.
I was gonna say, for the slides before.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
And that pavilion has kind of been like, even tried, the karate people had stuff in that pavilion with like the face painting stuff. That could just become an area where it's like a bunch of local, whatever wants to put their stuff, any flyers of any business or whatever.
That's a great idea.
Because we're already people are coming there to get face painted. Like there's people go there. So like, might as well use it. Yeah. You just gotta get one kid to get their face painted, then they all line up.
Nice.
Face painting mixed with karate sounds like a dangerous game.
Oh, it was. We had to be careful.
Sorry, back to the movie, it doesn't impact church, plan on doing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We'll be there.
Okay, and then the next thing on the agenda is the pickleball court. I'm sorry, it was Jim? Was it?
Joe.
I apologize.
Thank you, yes. I do actually have a presentation I kind of put together real quickly, just to kind of overview for us to kind of review and consider as we kind of move forward with even making a determination whether or not we want to actually like to kind of move forward with, pursuing this avenue. If you look at this slide here, this is a little bit of history on pickleball. I'll try to read it quickly to you. In 1965, I guess a congressman went home with his buddy after playing a round of golf. And he came home to his family kind of just sitting around, lying around, not really being active, not playing together or anything like that. And they decided to say, hey, let's get these kids together, get them active, get them going. And they kind of engaged them, but they didn't really have a full set of, badminton probably equipment or things like that. So they pulled pieces together between their, their badminton, their ping pong and wiffle ball, and they kind of created this this pickleball type of format, and they kind of created their own game with rules and everything like that. And they kept in mind the original purpose of this whole premise of pickleball was to kind of provide something that the whole family could play together. And that's it's a social event, you know. It's going to be competitive, and I seem to be very competitive in some cases. But you can see unto itself the history goes back to 1965 all the way up to 2009, where we actually have the USA Pickleball Association, which is kind of an interesting thing. Now, we don't necessarily see pickleball that much from my perspective, or I'm aware of it on the East Coast. Maybe you guys are maybe aware of it. If you're on the West Coast, it's very popular, very, very popular. And so there are dedicated pickleball courts all over the place. You want to go to the next slide, please? You can see why pickleball, you know, it's a sport that combines elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong. You play with paddles and plastic balls with holes, like the wiffle ball. You can play it as a singles or doubles. It's very social, friendly, and the rules are simple. Even I can play it. And so, you know, kids can pick it up very, very quickly. It has a low impact for participants, minimizing risk for musculoskeletal disorders, strains and sprains that you would, you know, often incur, I guess, with like tennis. And things of that nature. There's some good cardio benefits if you play hard with it, if you so choose. And some of the concerns why we want to kind of look at this in the town of Sykesville, there's really no designated pickleball courts in the county at all. There are some, I guess, temporary or portable type pickleball units that come to mind. I think Merritt can set up a temporary pickleball court in their gym. I think the senior center can do it as well. But again, it's not the official pickleball court. It's kind of a modified. It doesn't really lend itself real well for people that are really avid in the pickleball play. There's no courts in Carroll County. The town of Sykesville can lead the county in the sport of pickleball. And it can also generate some revenue, you know, through other avenues of opportunity, through maybe you want to, if somebody has a party, you can rent it out to a family or a party or friends, or you can have a tournament which raise some money back into for maintenance, or just back into the town. It probably won't be a huge revenue stream, but certainly something that can kind of at least maybe pay for itself. Obviously, some of the design requirements, obviously, you can see the minimum is 30 by 60. The ASBA manual recommends 34 by 64, and you know, you can go as fancy as you want. You can kind of go, they recommend 34 by 64. I played on 40 by 70 courts, which are really very nice with 10-foot, I have 10-foot chain link fence around to kind of hold and contain the ball as if somebody misses it. But you can go as low as 36 inches. And certainly there's also, you can build them such that they have some sort of cushion on the court itself. You've probably seen that in a lot of your playgrounds in and around the area. So it can have some cushion as well. So again, low impact, less risk for musculoskeletal disorders and things like that. Next slide. The fiscal impact, you know, how much is this going to cost? That's the big question, you know. Obviously, it can be very expensive, $20,000 to $40,000 for a set of courts, depending on the size. But again, you need to kind of go out and you know, contact vendors that build these type of courts and kind of investigate locally, you know, what it would cost here. We could probably liaison with, you know, Howard County, who built courts down in that area in Appleton. Or I think there's another set of dedicated courts up in Cockeysville as well. We can kind of make a determination from them who built those courts, or reach out to the USA Pickleball Association and ask them as well. Funding, obviously, grants, business donations, maybe the tax revenue base if we so choose. So it is a costly amount of money, but I think as a whole, from a social demographic standpoint, it's going to pull everybody in my opinion. Next slide. Some of the things I proposed, Miller Cooper Park was one of the first things that came to mind, and just below the gatehouse, we talked about, you know, foot traffic. That would pull foot traffic right in front of the gatehouse. You have the park right across from it. You can extend that parking lot area a little bit in the back of that area where there actually used to be an old halfway house of some sort, or a kid's youth house or something back in the day. You could put them in there as well. And also, if in the event that you have, say, a tournament, you could actually park people, there's plenty of parking along there. You can park them up in the middle school area, and I think and correct me if I'm wrong, there used to be a set of steps that go down that area, I think, as well. Is it still there? I don't know. Anybody? No. Okay, so they can walk around or things like that. Next option. Option 2, I thought, well, Harold, Burkett Park is a nice location, a lot of space in that area. You may want to extend the parking lot a little bit. In the current location, there's 4 parking spots there currently. You may want to double it. I think there's the neighbors in the neighborhood are using it right now for themselves. So, but if we extend it out a little bit, we may lend itself from the standpoint of having additional parking. There's still some off-street parking, but plenty of space to kind of put that location in at Burkett Park. One thing they talk about a lot of times, placement of the courts. You want to place it such in a manner that you're facing kind of north and south versus east and west. You kind of have a strong, sunrise, sunset, which is going to be very hard on the eyes. And so if you face it like north-south, as I'm kind of orienting it there, it may lend itself well for those people playing on the courts. Next slide. Obviously, some of the conclusion, pickleball is an activity which is a social event. It's available for people of all ages and demographics. It's dedicated outdoor courts present opportunities for large demographics of people. Obviously, you're not going to find me in your splash zone, playing, in your splash, area that you just recently put in. But you can. This is something little kids to adults to seniors can play. We can have town tournaments that could have families against families or neighborhoods, together, and we could, Harlan Lane could be taking on, maybe Second Avenue or something like that. They kind of have the rise of the pickleball tournament and stuff like that. Who's the strongest? Now, it has some revenue generating potential for court rentals and tournaments, and obviously we would lead the county and the state of Maryland having a dedicated pickleball court. So an opportunity we can't pass by, and I certainly solicit your interest in maybe moving forward with this idea. So next slide. And there's some resources in which you can actually go online. Just a couple resources you can go online for that matter if you so choose. So I think it's a great idea. I love it. The problem is I can play tennis, but the problem with tennis is parting your joints and knees. And this pickleball is nice because it's very relaxing and social and fun. So, any questions, comments, concerns?
I have a couple questions. How long does like a typical match last? So like if there was a tournament, would it be like a 1 or 2 day?
It depends on the amount of teams that you have going on in play, and also the competency of the players. If you have a youth, tournament, it may be somewhat slow, a little bit in nature. If you have a middle-aged group, maybe 30s, 40s, 50s, you may have a tournament that goes very, very quickly. So I don't have enough experience or depth to kind of tell you that. I'm kind of very new and novice to it. I actually just picked it up this summer, playing up in the Poconos on vacation. I loved it. A bunch of New Yorkers taught me it, and they're pretty tough. And so, I really had a good time with it. And when I came back here to Maryland and Sykesville, I'm looking all over the place for a pickleball court, and really there's nothing to be had. And the senior center, which has one which is free and available for people who are 55 and over, I have some friends that can go there, but they close down at like 3, 4 o'clock, and they really have no availability for somebody getting off work to go play pickleball in their gymnasium. So I'm like, it'd be really nice if we had one here. So something to think about. Any more? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Sorry, I've never heard of pickleball before. So
That's awesome. You're love it.
curious.
I'm telling you.
I never heard of it until a bunch of people from church wanted to go play.
Yeah.
So so I know people that would already want to play.
Yeah, and you know what? We can take a field trip down to Appleton if you want to on a Saturday or Sunday, and you can check it out. And we can, some friends that actually have pickleball, equipment, and we can try it out, and it's fun. It's really fun.
Are most pickleball courts indoor or outdoor?
The most I have seen are outdoor.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you can't have indoor,
Right.
but I do know that there are some on the West Coast, just looking online, that there are some indoor pickleball courts which are, almost like your like a tennis club type of environment. They converted a couple tennis courts to pickleball,
Right.
you know.
Do we have tennis courts? We don't have.
We have no tennis courts in the town of Sykesville, shame on us, and there's none over at the Freedom Park, and I don't know, there's tennis courts up at the high schools, which I play.
Yeah.
But, you know, no,
You've lost the audio from the people.
no tennis courts, so.
Oh,
So you should,
she could.
Lisa, if you can just type your question in, because I think we've lost
I
the
can
audio.
ask it. Can you hear me? I just didn't want to interrupt.
I know that there's a
my
tennis
question
club
really-
down in Howard County, I think, but I don't think they, what's that?
Circle D.
Circle D, thank you, yeah, Circle D actually, and they don't have any I called them, they don't have no pickleball.
No.
So not yet, anyway. They're all dedicated tennis only.
Is there an opportunity there for like crossover
Yeah.
between like tennis and
A
pickleball?
multi-purpose court.
You
Yeah,
can do it that way, yeah, and a lot of places do that, to have that capability. But again, it does, you have to kind of, if you get a good designer, you can lay it out in such a manner, maybe it may minimize, the risk of, confusion of the lines and stuff like that, so it can be done, it can be done. Friends of mine actually, over this past year, they created their own pickleball court in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And they play there, but it's probably not good with the traffic coming in and out. So, yeah.
yeah, I only ask because I think it'll be easier to kind of sell it if we can have it be a multi-purpose.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
That's what Liza asked too.
And that's the thing, if you go with a multi-purpose type of court system, maybe you probably want to build a larger court instead of, the 30 by 60, maybe you want to go 40 by 70. That way you can have, because with a tennis court, you're going to have to play beyond that back line a lot of times, depending on who you're playing, and you're going to need higher fencing, like a 10-foot fence that you find up at the high schools and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's a great idea having a multi-purpose, court system. And you can go, on the lower end of the scale, if you go moving forward to investigate costs, they have modular type systems out there that piece together that you can kind of put into place, or you can kind of come on the upper end of the scale, probably where you actually have the cushion kind of court and stuff like that. It gives a little bit of give, which is kind of nice.
I think it's a cool idea.
I'm telling you, it's a
Do they have a
great
question?
great opportunity.
I think we need more courts anyway.
Oh, okay.
And was there
Is that a
was there ever
question
plan
if you-
for?
Right.
Oh,
Are you guys able to
I think
hear me?
typed it.
Oh, okay.
It was about multi-purpose courts. I think.
Yeah, you can do multi-purpose, yeah.
Did we already have an existing plan for that? The space where the building was? What was that building? A girls'
Girl shelter, no, and actually, really Cooper Park is, I don't want to say overdeveloped already, but
It has
we
a
kind of
lot.
want to start looking at other parks to add amenities to. I
Sure,
think
yeah.
Burkett Park might, if this is an avenue we want to go down, Burkett Park would probably be a better one. I think, a little bit of community outreach to let people know that there might be changes to the park, or if there are amenities added, what could they be, just so we can get a little more input before we do something like this. Plus, there's a cost aspect to it, to putting the courts in.
Sure.
And those requests would have to roll through council. So, but of course, they would want support from Spark before that was agreed to or not agreed to.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that we can.
To look into.
Look into.
I think it has the potential to be popular. Like a lot of those lesser known sports, like pickleball and frisbee golf. Like those are becoming really popular with people my age.
Yeah.
People go to Elk Ridge all the time just for frisbee golf because they have a really nice frisbee golf course. So there's not a lot of pickleball courts around.
It's always nice to be first in something, or second in something.
It might be easier to get a grant since it's something that's unique, especially to this
Yeah.
area.
I like
He's
it.
trying to ask a question.
So in the room, we've lost the audio from the people participating via Zoom.
Okay.
People watching on Facebook can actually still hear them. We can't.
They're probably yelling.
Oh.
So Billy can't understand why we're ignoring his
People are
question.
I
watching
don't know
on
what
Facebook.
he said the picture displays seem to show more than one court.
Oh,
Yes, there's multiple courts in that example, and again, that was just a swag, it's something to consider. And to your very point, Joe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, certainly, soliciting input from people within the community would be the best situation. Different, this, like the venue up here at Cooper Park, obviously it is maybe overpopulated with the equipment, Burkett Park, or maybe some other place. I certainly don't know, but it's something to kind of
So I
throw
think
out
that-
there and see kind of spark some
I think
ideas.
the extended part of his question is that estimated cost that you talked about, the 20 to 40K,
Uh-huh.
does that cover the multiple courts that you showed in the picture?
Again, that was a swag. That was something I pulled off the internet that said on average, again, you have to go to, a vendor who builds these things based upon this particular area. You have the COVID supply chains all messed up right now. So, I can't tell you what that would be. And that's kind of a very broad range, and maybe you can get a little bit on the lower end possibly, but, and maybe like to somebody's point, a multi-purpose type of court system would lend itself. You build one year, maybe you can wait a couple years to see what the demand is, if any. And then you build 2, 3, maybe if everybody loves it, as maybe we build a whole series of courts.
Again, I think it's worth investigating. It's just a matter of, getting some facts together, and then we'll kind of go from there.
And I would recommend, a field trip down to Appleton, let me know.
Sounds like
West
challenge.
Coast, we'll go to the West Coast. And all
That's right.
Flags out there, so.
I
It's a spark investigation.
So Joe, should Mr. Apostol take this to town council, or does it just stay with us?
Not
Like,
yet.
what's
I
the-
mean, again, I think it's just a matter of Spark, again, collecting our facts. And then again, if we do identify a park that we think, something might be able to go here, be it pickleball or something else, I do think reaching out to the people that are in the immediate vicinity of whichever park we select
Okay,
to gain some public input on any kind of improvement that we plan on doing.
got it.
And then once we get that and get some of that input, then we can formulate a better plan and then take it to town council so that we can then
Okay.
ask for the money to do it.
Got it. Thanks. Thanks, Joe.
Good. Really want to ask what type of pickles do you eat at?
Anything you want.
Okay, so let's see, moving on the agenda. So the next thing is DVD raffle. We tried to do the DVD raffle at the last movie, but maybe I wasn't loud enough. The person that wanted to take it never came. So we'll try again at the next movie.
Don't know if they show up, we can.
Man.
The speaker that we bring and play music has a microphone, so we can use that next time.
Okay.
It was actually just in my car, so it wasn't very helpful.
Okay, and then storage of Spark inventory, so kind of the snack shack versus the townhouse. So at some point, I haven't heard, I'd have to see if you responded to the email, but I think the plan is for me and Eric to go through the stuff,
Mhm.
the townhouse and the basement, and kind of help to identify what we want to keep, I guess what we don't need for Spark, and then I guess try to think about what should be the snack shack versus townhouse.
Or the river shack.
I don't want to put anything in the river shack.
It was so scary.
I wouldn't
going
put
there to get the
anything-
I
craft
just
beer.
Cloth
want to
in
keep,
there,
I just
but-
want to keep the signs in there, and that's it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fair point, fair point.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's plenty of
There's
room
room
in
downstairs.
the basement. There's just some things down there that belong to, the DS, what was before the DSE.
Right.
And so that stuff is open for grabs, and if you guys want it, great, if not, then we're gonna get rid of it.
Okay.
Then once we have those shelves cleaned off, then you have a whole wall of shelves to store your inventory. So I know you talked about being tight at the concession stand,
Very-
so if you wanted to go through that stuff and if you wanted to move some of it over to the townhouse, there's space for that. It was kind of where this agenda item came from.
Are the
The-
shelves deep enough to hold our Rubbermaid containers?
They're probably like this.
Okay.
But there's plenty of room, we can make it work.
Okay,
My big concern would be if during a movie, we need access to the backup equipment.
Sure.
that's kind of what we
None of
talked
us
about.
have access to the
Yeah.
townhouse, so.
We talked about that a little bit, and we thought maybe the movie equipment should stay at the snack shack. So maybe you get
100%.
other things out to make room for your movie equipment to stay there.
are we allowed to make decisions as Spark commissioners to take stuff out of the snack shack? Because there's stuff in there that is very old, that was there
Absolutely.
yeah.
before we
Absolutely.
came. But does anyone else of any other commission have anything in there, or does Public Works need to come and look in there?
I don't think they have anything in there.
Oh, well then we have free
All
rein
right,
to get rid
all
of
right.
some of
Yeah,
that
I think
All
stuff.
your stuff,
Like, we need to have a yard
Great.
sale.
Okay,
yeah.
so then do we contact Public Works to come and pick up the stuff that we don't want? Because a lot of that stuff needs to go.
Yeah, if we know what day you're gonna be going through the snack shack, we'll make sure somebody from Public Works can be available to haul it all away.
Sure,
Thank
or if they
you.
can send a dumpster down there, or,
Thank you very much.
yeah.
I think isn't there already a dumpster?
There is.
Can we use the dumpster there?
Oh, yeah.
or would-
Absolutely.
So we can
Yeah.
put whatever we want in
Yeah,
the
we can-
dumpster? Great, thank you very
Yeah.
much. I'll do that downtime during the
Okay, so it looks like that was
Oh, no.
everything on the agenda. We didn't talk about, so I just wanted to say that the cleanup went very well, it was very
Good.
successful. We had, probably I would say 30 to 40 people between the two locations.
Mhm.
Terrific.
And I just posted the pictures, from Beach Park, that part of the cleanup on Facebook.
It looks really nice. It looks really, really nice.
It's cleaned up very well, yeah.
Did it?
Did we get the head
That's what I was
back
gonna
on
ask.
the dragonfly?
It's on there.
Yay.
It's on there, the wings are back on, everything's working again.
Great.
Alright, so, that was it. We have a ton of dates, sorry.
No real updates. Again, we've been trying to push the splash pad, trying to get the thing open before the weather turned, but it looks like we're gonna miss the window. It does work. It's operational, but we're still waiting on final sign off from the state and county health department to actually, make it official. But it looks like once we get those, which will probably be next week, that's when I think the highs are in the mid-70s and the lows are in the 50s. So it's pneumonia weather now.
Nice
So-
bed.
So it looks like, doesn't look like we can get much use out of it this year, but certainly by the time the spring rolls around, we'll be ready to go, and I'm sure it's gonna be a popular amenity.
Very.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we should look, I'm guessing you guys already have a kickoff event.
We do plan on doing like a ribbon cutting, and of course Spark will be part of that. If we can get Sparky getting dumped on, that'd be even better, but I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know.
No, that
A big
would be
poncho
good.
on him, maybe. I don't know.
There you go, man.
Yeah, Brian can do that.
I mean, like, when you're wearing Sparky, it's soaked to the core anyway with sweat, so.
On the
I
inside.
don't know.
A good way to wash it,
How much
maybe.
damage water would do.
So with that park becoming a lot more popular, has the town considered doing, like bottleless, water refillers?
That's been something that's been brought up already, and I think for next year, that is definitely something that we can look at as having some sort of portable water filling station, particularly for events. And then also, I've always said Spark needs more swag, so it's like if we had actual bottles that we could either sell or give away, refillable bottles, that would be I guess a good addition to our repertoire.
Something kind of like this.
Something kind of like that, but
Yeah.
with the Spark logo.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Because Beach Park was so successful, could we do another park in November and dedicate Spark to cleaning up that park and keep this momentum moving?
I like
Is
that idea.
Possible that we can do that?
We should.
Do we want to do it in November, or do we want to wait till the spring?
Oh.
Because I think that was kind of our cleanup times, wasn't it? Weren't we going to do one in the fall and one in the spring?
Yeah.
Because
I
just
don't-
with everybody really being excited about
Yeah.
that and kids wanting,
Kids need
desperately
hours.
wanting
Yeah, that's
service
true.
hours, I was thinking if we did one in November and then called it a day, because we can't add one more thing in October, there's no
Oh,
way.
yeah.
So if we just did one more thing in November and then signed off and we come back in the spring, we could get those kids that came, or more emails are coming in to me for kids that need service
Mhm.
hours. We could get them one more
Okay.
and then get them ready to come back in February, or, sorry, in March, when we start up again, because I really feel like June through October, we're so thin because of everything that we already do. To add parks then, it really puts a lot on us as volunteers. So if we could do parks in March and April and May, since we don't do the movie in May anymore, and then do November, and then Earth Day in April, I think that would really spread us out, and that would be good. Thoughts?
Billy agrees with the November cleanup. Sorry, we can't hear you, but what I can do is
Okay, thanks, Billy.
I can get with Billy, we can brainstorm a park or two and maybe come up with a few projects that Billy's saying right now.
We were hoping Jones Park.
Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, the swings are really noisy, and we painted there as a SPARK committee a couple years ago, and that paint is chipping off.
Yeah.
And the swings are really noisy, and it needs a good, we play at that park a lot.
Okay.
And it needs another big amount of mulch. And that's a hard part to get the mulch too, because of the big giant hill, but.
We
I
have
think
lots
that-
of wheelbarrows now.
Yeah.
We have several
Oh,
wheelbarrows.
that's a big one. That's a big hill for several wheels, but-
We
I
got
think
really
Jones Park would be
efficient
good.
at moving wheelbarrows and mulch.
Up the
So,
big hill to
over
get the
the-
Jones.
That's said the swing set along the linear trail.
That needs
All
some
the
tender
equipment
love as
along the
well.
linear
That's right,
trail
Billy.
needs help.
So, yeah, I'll get with Billy, we'll
Perfect.
brainstorm a few ideas, and then certainly by our next meeting, we'll have something figured out.
Great.
And I think we can realistically keep the September one, because we chose the September because it aligns with the National Cleanup Day.
Great.
But these are, I mean, it was a pretty easy event to put together. I don't see why we can't do September and November.
Did you want to pick a date for November?
I would say the 6th, the first Saturday.
Wait, hold on. I mean, it was easy for us, but Public Works had to do a lot of
Correct.
preparing.
Preparation.
So I guess it depends on what they can do, or if they need to do anything.
Yeah, are we asking too much of Public Works?
Yeah.
Again, it depends on what work we're gonna be doing at whatever park we decide. So like I said, let me talk to Billy. Like I said, Billy and I will put our heads together and we'll see what we can come up with.
Great.
And then we can make a determination if we're asking too much of Public Works at the time.
Okay, thanks, John.
But I do like the idea of kind of trying to keep it rolling,
Mm-hmm.
keep everybody's
Mhm.
interest.
So I think a good start is to pick the date. So did you say the 6th?
November 6th, that's the
November
first Saturday,
6th.
because you're hoping it's still warm.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, I
Like it's too
agree.
cold.
Okay.
Well, manual labor is better in colder temperature anyways.
It'll be cold, you don't have to be snowing.
Paintings, yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's what I was
that's
thinking,
true.
exactly. Right.
You kind of have a gap at that point anyways, right, of stuff we're doing.
Yeah, I know, my November, like my
Correct.
October's crazy, and my November's like nothing.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know if we're doing the Christmas thing again in December, but
Right,
if that's
If-
literally it.
if we can. Okay, great.
So we should probably talk about Christmas then at the next meeting.
Correct.
We're just starting to talk about it.
That'll be on your agenda.
Good.
I told Joe we could wait till after October 1st to start talking.
That's good.
I like
Have a
that.
lot on our plate right now.
Yeah, we all do, yeah.
My wife's birthday month, so I've been, I gotta get through
It's the
September.
whole month.
I gotta get through September.
I love it.
Okay, does anybody have anything else?
Any questions from the audience?
Joe?
No.
Any other questions, Shanna?
Okay, cool. All right, then it is, I motion to end the Spark meeting at 7:49 PM.
I second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Hey.
Any opposed?